Our current and future executive directors of the Encampment for Citizenship. Margot Gibney was in the encampment in 1971 at the young age of 14. She's the current executive director of the Encampment. Margot has developed and directed youth programs across the country, serving a wide range of communities. She's also developed programs for youth and families within the dependency and juvenile justice systems. Dr. Faith R. Karras is our incoming executive director. She's a lifelong educator, community organizer, and inclusive researcher. She was previously Associate Director of Research and Evaluation for the Institute of Racial Justice at Loyola University in Chicago, and is currently on the faculty of the University of Illinois at Chicago. So Margot and Faith, please come on up. I'm going to cede the platform to you.
I'm also typing her.
Hi, everybody, and hi to everybody online. I'm very excited. I just saw Sam Wilson, who I haven't seen since 1991, and Fabio I haven't seen for many years. We have many people here. And the first thing I want to do, though, is I want to thank the Brooklyn Society for hosting us today. Really appreciate that. The Brooklyn Society also sponsored a young person to attend the encampment this summer. And that's how the encampment keeps going. So many thanks to the Brooklyn Society. Special thanks to Ann Clayson, who's also a board member of the encampment and who's really helped keep the encampment ethical connection alive. And I also wanted to acknowledge Margarita Jones, who's joined us remotely, and without Margarita we wouldn't be here today. And Margarita's another great person and somebody that really made it possible for the encampment to continue. So many thanks to Margarita. I also want to say that we have descendants of the two founders of the encampment with us today. Elliot Black, who is the grandson of Algernon Black, and Susie and Libby Pollock, who are the great-granddaughters of Alice Pollitzer, who's also known as Nanny. So, Samuel Beckless is here from Chicago. It's been instrumental. We have other board members, Diane London and Steve Liebman, and of course Elliot is also on our board. And so I feel, I always feel when I come back here and when I'm at Ethical that it's a homecoming, because we came from ethical societies to leaders in the ethical movement, founded the encampment, and then the first encampments were sponsored by both the American Ethical Union and the New York Society. So I feel like we're home. And let's see if there's anyone else I want to mention. There's so many people I want to mention, but I'm going to not do that because I'm already running over. So the encampment, as was stated, was founded in 1946, and in a particular moment in history. And we're obviously not in that same moment, but we're in a very dramatic moment and a very challenging moment. And so it's I went back and I looked through, Al Black wrote a book called The Young Citizens that chronicled the encampment from 46 to 62. And one of the quotes from that book is, "The encampment regards youth as a critically important element in the struggle between freedom and authoritarianism." And here we are, meeting this moment that I know many of us thought we would never be at this level, right? But to carry the spirit of Al and Nanny, that's the belief and the faith in young people and the power of young people, and that if young people are given an experience that's transformative, that they just don't talk about creating their own community, but they create one. They do it. It's hands-on, and they do it together. That equips young people to go out into the world and recreate that, and to not accept what's put before you, to question. Just as in 46, the staff of the encampment would always challenge young people to think about what was being presented before them. So I think in this moment, the encampment is more needed than ever, and we need everybody together to continue and to support young people. And so I'm very hopeful that we can have more meetings like this, that we can work together intergenerationally. One of the things that as an organization we're focusing on is to really walk our talk. So do we have an organization where young people's voice is represented? Do we have an organization that functions according to our values? We're getting much closer. We now have more young people on the board. We have committees with more young people participating. We have young people participating in developing the curriculum. So we're doing everything we can to walk the talk and the vision of the encampment. And congruent to that, it's time for new leadership that represents the encampment going beyond what we've been. That in terms of being able to serve more young people, really looking at social justice and social change intergenerationally. We need each other all the time, and that we're doing more programming intergenerationally, and Faith will talk more about that. But in terms of meeting this moment, we've been so fortunate because Faith Karras has been a board member, as was stated, for 5 years, has been volunteering and been involved. And I have to say, I am having so much fun working with Faith. Faith has brought so much. I'm a little tired. I'm a little rough around the edges. It's been a long haul for me, and not one that I regret, but it's not without its challenges. But Faith makes doing the work a joy. And Faith can communicate that kind of enthusiasm. Faith is one of those people that shall raise the energy in a room just by her presence and without trying, right? So what better person to lead the encampment into its next iteration? And last thing I'll say, probably not, but anyway, is that we really want to do it together. We're back home, and we're going beyond our, what's become kind of insular. We really need to grow what we're doing, and we need everybody's help and participation. So many thanks to everybody here for coming, to everybody online, and I'm going to turn it over to our new executive director, Faith Karras.
Welcome, everyone. So this is the tail end of what I call me and Margot's whirlwind tour, meeting alumni and donors as we're really being intentional about this leadership transition. And I'm going to try to not cry today because I cannot speak about the encampment without just, without shedding some tears, because it really is such an incredible organization. And Margot is really such an incredible human. So my name is Faith. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I first fell in love with the Encampment, in large part because of its belief that solutions to present-day injustices and approaches to social movements must be intergenerational. In fact, the story of how I even found the Encampment highlights the importance of and impact of intergenerational community. My mentor from junior high school when I was 15 years old, Angelina, she was a college student at UMass Amherst. She's the one who got me involved with the Encampment. So she had been working on the board for many years. And then in 2020, she invited me to join the board. So that close relationship with her from when I was 15 years old to now, 44, was crucial in developing my voice as a young person and my social justice commitments, and really instilling in me that I can affect change, right? That I can make the world better. I can do something about it. And so it is Evelyn, and it is that relationship and her dedication and belief in young people, in me, why I'm standing here before you today. Now, the Encampment's Cornerstone program is our annual residential youth program, which takes place for 3.5 weeks every summer, and it rotates locations across the country. And these locations are where we have enduring relationships, right? We already have really significant community partnerships. Now, this program helps young people using the arts, music, dance. Angelina might speak to the dance component, dance, performance, spoken word, theater, to develop their voices. It provides them with the skills to work for social justice in their own communities and exposes them to other young people from diverse backgrounds and backgrounds other than their own. It gives them training to communicate effectively across difference and to think critically and self-reflexively, right? To get outside of yourself. So you will hear shortly from this group of young people from New York, right? From the New York area, who have participated in this program. The Pesticide-Free Soil Project, a partnership with organizations in Ventura County, California, emerged out of a 2019 summer program. So you start seeing these ripple effects, right? We established this year-round environmental justice program in response to requests from the young people who've participated in our summer program and in response to local organizations. Other year-round programming includes our intergen or intergenerational cafes, which take place remotely and nationwide. And these cafes or gatherings join alumni across various generations, right? So you could have a group of alumni who protested Vietnam, right, in the late 60s, early 70s. And then we had a group of young people who are 15, 16, 17, who are connecting with them this past summer, right? And talking about what is similar and different in terms of organizing for social justice. So these intergen cafes that take place join these alumni across different generations in engaging dialogue on the critical issues of the day that are identified by our young people. Margot mentioned the moment that we are all in. And so the Encampment really is responding to this moment in a number of ways. One, we are increasing the number of young people participating in our summer leadership programming. Two, we are increasing the frequency of our year-round programming, such as these intergenerational cafes. And I also want to add that these intergenerational cafes are not just open to alumni, right? Another aspect is that we're expanding, we're going beyond our current base, including non-alumni, such as myself, but whose values align with the Encampments. And then as Margot mentioned, we are increasingly integrating young people's participation in all aspects of the functioning of the organization, right? We have young people who are board members. So as we are in the midst of recruiting young people for our 2026 program, it is with great pleasure that I introduce you all to a special group of young people from the greater New York area who will speak to their experiences in our summer program. So that said, I am first going to invite Angelina Martinez to come up to the stage and share her experiences. Angelina, thank you.
Hello, my name is Angelina Martinez. I'm from the Long Island area. I'm 17 years old. My pronouns are she, her. And I attended the encampment for the 2025 summer program. This is okay. I can stand this far away from the mic, right? Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you. The encampment, what does it mean to me? The encampment, and you're going to hear this probably 3 times said, the encampment changed my life, and it changed my perspective. It allowed me to really challenge the biases I had from my childhood, where I grew up in my area, and to expose it to different areas and different cultures, different ethnicities, different races, and expand them, to really develop them, to develop their ideas, and to challenge the norms that I had deemed normal. I thought that I was very educated on a lot of things. I thought that I was well-rounded, and I wasn't as knowledgeable as I thought I was. And it was conflicting to me to come to the encampment and get there and realize that I wasn't the great knowledge person that I thought I was. And I was able to build, get better, learn, develop, grow through the encampment. And I'm going to speak a little bit about, there was amazing mentors. Margot is amazing. Faith is, Evelyn, I don't know if she's on the meet, but oh my God, Evelyn, amazing speaker. She made me feel so proud to be Hispanic. And I know it wasn't always that way for me. I'm half a Salvadorian, half Argentinian, and I was ashamed. I always said I'm Argentinian first, maybe even not even said a Salvadorian because of the stereotypes there are for Salvadorian people, especially in Long Island where there's a high population of Salvadorian people. But learning the history of my people and the violence they faced, the prejudice they faced, the discrimination they faced, really made me feel proud to be who I am. And in the encampment, I was able to express that and release and be openly honest and not ashamed of my roots, of where I come from. And through the intergen, we had the intergen performance. I did a solo dance along with a group partnership with Evangeline. I'm trying to remember Evangeline's last name. Picot. And so we had a performance together. Her mother works close with the encampment. And my dance piece allowed me to feel physically, each step, I felt like I was connecting with my heritage. I felt electrified, and it went through my soul, and it was honestly the most amazing experience to be able to perform in front of people, because I have always been so shy, so embarrassed, so in the closet about just performing or dancing in front of people, which I've always loved. I've always felt like, no, I can't play this music. It's not for this crowd. And I was able to play the songs that I grew up listening to and share a piece of me to a group of people that I had grown close to, a group of people that wanted to get to know me and who I am for all that is, and some of the people that we worked closely with. And it was so nice to see all the people that we interacted with during the encampment, like the Chumash brothers were there, which, oh my gosh, these 2 brothers, they're part of the Chumash tribe in the local area, and they kind of were our show guides for the majority of the trip. And they were such nice people who knew so much about their culture, who were invested into it, who were loving and able to share and wanted to grow they didn't want their culture to die. They wanted it to keep living and expanding with their lives and continuing through generations. And that actually brings me to another point. Why I love the encampment and why I love Intergen is that one day Margot is here showing what it means to be an encampment member, and she's exposing that to me, to Annie, to Chrissy, who will also be speaking. And one day I will be doing the same. And one day I will be able to show my experience and show what the current moment is for me now. And tell the next generation of how the struggles we face living in this current moment, that I can only learn through people that were able to live that, from you guys, from Evelyn, from the people listening here today on Zoom. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for letting me speak. And long live the encampment.
Can we have another round of applause for Angelina? So I am excited to introduce y'all to our next speaker. She also participated in the 2025 encampment this past summer, Annie Simpson.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Annie Simpson, and I'm a current senior in high school in Edison, New Jersey. And yeah, I want to come up here and talk about how the encampment was for me. So one thing I love to say, and it was a complete coincidence, the day that I took the flight to California, to the encampment, was the same day to the date that I took the flight to come to America from India. So yeah. And like, I had barely seen much of New Jersey, like maybe a year, exactly a year. And so when even like coming to the encampment alone on that flight to the other side of the country was an experience in and of itself. And I had to share a room and like a whole living situation with a bunch of strangers who are now my closest companions, Angelina and Chrissy. I love you guys. And yeah, one of the biggest things I learned at the encampment was to stay curious and to always ask questions and always stay curious. We met with so many communities and people with such unique stories. The Chumash people, like Angelina said, they're an indigenous tribe, indigenous to the Channel Islands. And we met with BC Defensa, which is an organization that's helping prevent the ice raids in Ventura County. And then we met farm workers in the Oxnard area that were like brave enough to come out and talk to us about their stories and how the ice raids right now are affecting them personally. And just hearing these people and seeing how much bravery they had in them really made me like reflect on how I should be more brave. I should also like come out to the forefront and confront these problems that I know my community is facing as well. I'm also an immigrant, and I know my immigration pathway was completely different to the people that are victims right now, but in some sense we share like similar stories. And so like, I know there were times when after somebody talked, there were complete crickets in the room, nobody was speaking, but we were always encouraged to ask questions. And right now I feel like young people, their opinions are kind of silenced. I feel like there's inactivity on our part because we think we can't make change. It's been so long and we feel like adults are like the decision makers and we don't have a voice in the room. And so coming to the encampment where you are encouraged to talk, encouraged to ask questions, that was a change for me, and it really made me feel like I should be fighting. I can fight. And so a special thing about the encampment is it's unique to the location we're in, and we were in the Ventura County, Oxnard area, and in Ventura County right now, it's the ice raids are a very big problem. And they also suffer from like a large toxic waste facility that's located intentionally situated near minority communities. And you can smell. We took a tour of these sites, the toxic waste tour, and you can just standing there, you can smell how bad the air is, and genuinely confronting these problems, not through an article on the news, but being there and actually facing it. It really changes your perspective on these things. So since I came back from the encampment, I took up an internship at a New Jersey Senator's office, and in there I was trying to deal with problems that are that New Jersey itself had. And another thing I did was I wanted to give back to my own community. So Edison, near my town, there's South Plainfield, and they have this small volunteer junior firefighting program. And so I was like, why not? And I joined it, and I recently got my own gear, which is very exciting. So I can't wait to fight real fires on my own. But yeah, I think the encampment genuinely made me a better person. It made me a stronger person, made me a more willful person. I feel like this is common for everybody. Right when you come out of the encampment, there's a sense of energy in you. Like, you can change. It does fizzle out a little bit, but as of right now, I'm really feeling it, just being in the room with you guys. And that intergenerational aspect of the encampment is so underrated. Like, I met people who went to the encampment when I wasn't even born. And that's just crazy to me. You guys are awesome. And looking at you guys still here, still coming to events, it fills me with inspiration. And I'm so thankful for the experience that the encampment gave me. And yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Annie. Another round of applause, please. So it is, again, with increasing great pleasure. I mean, our young people are just superstars, and I'm trying to not cry. That I would like to introduce y'all to Chrissy. But Chrissy, before you come up, there's something. Chrissy came to us through an organization here in New York called Brotherhood Sister Soul. And Brotherhood Sister Soul is really beautiful and quite special because one of the co-founders was an encamper when Margot was the executive director. Right, so this is many years ago. And so you can see this piece about how intergenerationality and continuity really surfaces in so many ways. And we were so lucky to have Chrissy, and she's already applied again to come back next year. So it is with great joy to introduce Chrissy.
Okay, hi guys. My name's Christine Calandra. I go to Gramercy Arts High School for like musical theater and stuff. But yeah, and I also go to Brosis too, which introduced me to the encampment program. When oh my god, the encampment was just so amazing. It was like a life-changing experience for me, especially because in that time, I'm a trans woman, so at the time there was laws that were being made and targeted towards people like me, and I'm a young trans person, and I kind of felt like I had no say because, being young, like Annie said, the adults are kind of the decision makers in a lot of things. So I felt like I didn't really have a say or a voice, or I couldn't speak about it. And when I went to the encampment, that was the most safest place I've ever felt as a trans woman, and it changed my life. Just building connections with people that are from this part of the world, in the South, in the Northeast, even from Brazil, So it was amazing connecting and getting different point of views, and just talking to people who had different life paths. It was really fun though. It was so fun. We went strawberry picking. We got to talk to I spoke to this girl, and she was sharing her story about coming to America, and it was really I started crying because it was such a inspiring story, and it just that was the moment where something just sleep through my body and just touched my heart, and it was just boom. It was such an amazing moment. I don't know, but I do know, but yeah. And also the brothers, that was a good experience too. Actually, I really had a lot of fun with them. They took us on a this little, I think it was like a hike-ish type of thing. It was really cool, and we got to learn about their culture. And we even went to Channel Island, and it was amazing. Like learning new things, and it kind of like it really inspires you. So towards the end of the encampment, I low-key kind of got sad because I'm like, no, I love this. Like Annie was my roommate, and Angelina was like across the room. It was amazing. So having these connections and learning all these things, like I did not want to take that flight back home. Like I just wished like it lasted forever. But that's a memory that I will cherish in my heart forever, honestly. So leaving the encampment kind of inspired me to kind of look for my culture and learn about my culture, which is trans culture and LGBTQ culture. So I started getting more into queer ballroom, and oh my God, like that was, if it wasn't for the encampment, I would have never been in the places and like the opportunities that I have now, I would never have them if I haven't went to the encampment. And yeah, take me back, guys.
Chrissy, applause again, please, for Chrissy. Chrissy also did not mention that during what we call Intergen Weekend, where alumni, return toward the tail end of the encampment program, that there's different types of sessions and workshops and presentations. And Chrissy organized with a group of her peers this really incredible presentation around Sharon P. Murphy, and really looking at Marsha P. Johnson, and educating the rest of us, right, both peers as well as staff, on the origins of the LGBTQ movement, but in particular, really pushing against the erasure of trans people in that history, right? And that was Chrissy with her peers, So that's another thing. We have young people who come to the encampment and learn, but they also teach one another. So our final speaker is Fabio. I would love to invite Fabio to come speak. So Fabio actually participated in the encampment in 2014. 2016 and 17, and I believe at that time it was in Massachusetts at Hampshire College. So Fabio, would you like to come up and say a couple words?
Hi, I want to say thank you, first of all, for the Ethical Society and Audrey and Anne Clayson. And, founding Ethical Society was like a very easy when I was 13 years old. And since then, my life been changed. So I think like when Anne Clayson, when she was a leader at New York Ethical Society, she was telling me, there's this camp, we just started again. I was like, here we go again. Fabio have to go somewhere for the Ethical Society. So when I went, it changed my life. When we came to this beginning, we said Lenape people, Canarsie people. I've never met a Native American. So when I first came and I was talking to people that were Native American that had tradition, I was like, oh my God, it's so amazing. There's so much things to learn about. There's so many different things. And, they came in, changed my life. To give me a perspective, I had an internship at a humanity institute. Now I'm in school to become a social worker because of that. So I think like it allowed me to understand things in a different lens. And I think like a lot of time as a New Yorker, we tend to enable to be insular, not realize like what's going on in our own life, able to be like, oh my gosh, we know everything. But when we go outside of ourselves, when I see all those young people who are like, now I'm like, 28 and then you guys are 18 and, it's been a long time since I've been to the encampment. I'm so proud of you guys. And I'm so proud of Margot, and Anne is always going to the board and involvement. And now we have a new director. It's just like show me like something that, is gonna be a part of my bone in my life, that training. So I want to thank the Ethical Society. I want to thank Margot. I want to thank Anne. I want to thank Audrey who keep pushing me and telling me, I can do great. But, without you guys, there's no encampment. The encampment is a very small micromanagement and everything is added. So we have to keep pushing to do all the stories. So, help people having scholarship and do different things. So even me, when I receive letters about like putting $10, different things. So I think like for me, my job now is to go to those cafes. Even I have to. Last week when I first see Margot's face, I was like, I have to come. Margot's doing a lot of hard work than I do. Just showing up is just the best thing. So I want to thank everybody and keep moving it forward. And I think like we can have another encampment in another 75 years. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Fabio. Thank you so much again. So I want to be mindful of time, but I'd really like to invite each of our young people who spoke to come up to the stage, and if we can just give them a round of applause again. And maybe if you all have any other questions, they can answer it, or me and Margot can answer some questions as well.